Good morning.
I'm Nancy Calhoun. I'm the 18-year incumbent. I'm seeking re-election to continue to serve the residents of Orange and Rockland County. School tax reform has actually been my mantra for the past 18 years. I have sat for 17 years on the Real Property Tax Committee, and I am the ranking member. I've also been a chair of a task force that has gone around this state seeking information as to both what people are experiencing and any ideas that they may have. We began the Republican conference were the authors of the original STAR, which is the reduction on your school tax bill. And while it certainly was a Band-Aid then, it's certainly not now. You need to have major surgery. And for many, many months during the year, I have been a sponsor for the Taxpayer Protection Act. And this was the first piece of legislation that talked about the very now infamous 4% cap on school spending. And I firmly believe that to really solve this, it's going to take what the Swazi Commission said, which is a three-pronged approach. The first being the circuit breaker, and that was passed by the Assembly 124-18 in a bipartisan manner. The circuit breaker will allow people who have incomes under $250,000 to receive a tax rebate back through their income tax. But the second component, which is almost as important, if not more so, is the cap. And I'll tell you why. We have school districts now, including the Cornwall School District, which have been giving raises in excess of 5%. You just saw up in Pine Bush they went 5.5% to 6% per year. If we're going to have the state chip in more money, which is what would happen under the circuit breaker, it would come from state revenues, it's vitally important that we give our schools the ability to also not just keep raising the taxes because they need to have an incentive. Not a perfect system, but Massachusetts did Proposition 2.5, and while there were changes, they were able to go from number 1 in the country to number 28. Good example, I represent in the 96th the town of Stony Point in Rockland County. They had tremendous certiorari's on one of their electrical generating facilities. Therefore, they had huge tax increases. The legislature, together in the budget, offered them, which was very nice, $2.5 million as an incentive with the understanding that they would make cuts. They cut 68 positions out of this year's budget, kept their budget at a zero growth, and truly nobody has suffered. I was down there. I saw fifth grade classes. There were 8 of them. We were doing the DARE program, and maybe all the kids were sick that day, but they were ranging from 13 to 18 students per class. I think what they may have done is raise them up to 15 to 21, because there are ways for schools to contain themselves. And the important thing is we need to give them the fact that when they go to arbitration, the arbitrators all too often say, well, you can just raise taxes, therefore you can provide to all the employees very significant increases. We need to give them the ability to say, no, we can't. We can only go 4% or the cost of living, which is less. And that will be a big incentive, and it will be a way for us to, number one, control tax, but with the circuit breaker to provide those persons who have limited income.
Okay. I don't want you to go off on every subject in this opening
I just
statement.
want to say one other little thing here. I will talk about it later. I have given you 8 items that I think are meaningful in terms of real reform in Albany, and at some point I would just like, not now, but to tell you what I, with my experience, believe could make significant changes and good changes for the function of government in Albany.